Welcome back. We are here with my very favorite, very special guest, Dr. L.B. Wish, who is a psychotherapist and author of an amazing book she's going to tell you about in a second. LB, let's hear it from you.
Oh, thank you. It's awkward sort of putting out an advertisement out there. But if you
an advertisement, if it works.
Well, I don't know what to say, but I really, if you listeners and viewers, if you learn from this and from the podcast that Ellen and I do, please go to my website, lovevictory.com, and sign up on the right side, and you'll receive free books. And the book we'll be talking about today, that a lot of these tips come from, are from my book called Training Your Love Intuition. So it's very awkward to have an ad first, but just so you know who I am, because a lot of people have no idea who these talking heads are. So it's a research-based book, and it's teaching you to trust your love instincts. And that's what we're going to be integrating with our talk today, about questions to ask yourself and also your partner and dates.
Awesome. So we are all getting back out there now, the dating room. I'm getting my second shot in 2 weeks. I am so excited. But I think a lot of us are getting our shot and we are coming back around. So how do we date after, for me, it's been like over a year of like not seeing anyone, not talking to anyone, not even going into a coffee shop. So how do we kind of ease back into things?
Well, some people have eased in virtually. They've gone on virtual dates. They meet people. Sometimes that can be a little easier because you aren't physically there. You don't have to worry about the tension of, are we expected to go back to his or her place? Where's this date going to end? How is it going to end? So it gets rid of that stress, because that is stressful. You don't know whether to trust yourself. You also don't know where the other person's coming from. And sometimes you don't even know where you're coming from. Did you just have a breakup? Are you feeling that you're getting older? Is there parental family pressure? I've had clients say to me, I'm the youngest of 4 sisters and the only one who's not married. So there's that kind of pressure. So the virtual dating in some ways can be easier, but you still have to use good tools to get to know someone. And now that the lockdown is going down and more people are getting their injections, their vaccines, more people are, just what you said, taking the chance to go out there and date. And you get rusty, right? So you get a little rusty. So we're going to be talking today about key questions that maybe you've never thought of asking about yourself or about the person you're interested in dating. And as I said before in the very beginning advertisement, everything I offer to you, it's important to me that you get research-based, tested tips, not just something from my clients or something popped into my head. So these are questions that maybe you haven't heard before. And if you have, maybe you can think about them again more deeply. So I want you to think about, what are the things that you liked about your previous relationships? What did you like about them? What drew you to them? And what does that tell you about you? For example, some people are very drawn to someone who seems fun, okay? Very, very much fun and spontaneous. So what does that say about you? Are you not spontaneous enough? Or are you the rebel in the family who just has to be spontaneous to kind of hold your ground and mark your place amongst all your siblings? Or are you the oldest? Siblings sometimes have trouble being spontaneous. So take a look at what appealed to you about the persons in your past relationships. Is it something that you needed? Because they say opposites attract, but what in the world does that mean? It means in some ways, just like in the movies, you complete me. You're looking for someone who can support who you are, cheer for who you are, but also provide attributes that you don't have as well or as strong. So what did you like about the person? What were you drawn to them? And most importantly, did it work out? Were they too, whatever that word is that you were drawn to, too much so? Did it get sour? Where someone who, let's use the idea still of spontaneous, was the person so spontaneous that it changed into not wanting to take any responsibility, no plans for life, let's play it one day at a time, I'll be take a little job here and a little job here because I'm really a rock musician, and maybe I'll get a chance to practice, exaggerate what attracted you, take it to its extreme, and take a look at that past relationship, and then you get a chance as to whether you read that relationship a little bit wrong. You couldn't see how extensive that quality was. Or did you find something that you did like about someone that worked for you, but you just weren't ready, or they weren't ready, but it seemed like a pretty solid idea. So find out what it was that attracted you in your previous relationships, which ones worked, which ones didn't work, and why.
That's such a good question. I feel like we always try to like forget about our past relationship. Like that's over now. But we do all kind of have types, even if they're not like what we think of usually type, like the bad boy or the sweet guy. It's usually some kind of quality we usually attract.
Absolutely. And in my research, the number one dating pattern was after a bad breakup, each person swore off love. That's it. I'm done. I'll go out. Maybe I'll have, hookup sex. Maybe, whatever
Or
what
say
you
I
feel
pretend
you
like I'm an
want.
old spinster. I'm never finding love again. I will just.
That's right. That's it. I'm done with guys. And guys, they feel the same way about falling in love. I'll date, I'll have sex, but I don't want a relationship. So that's the number one dating pattern of saying
Interesting.
no. And that's okay, as long as you take a look back on where you were. And you need to ask yourself, what was going on in my life? Was I very lonely? Did I overcome an illness? Did I lose a parent? Did someone get very ill in my family? Divorced in my family? Did I have a bad breakup? So you want to look at a rolling picture, like a rolling film of where you've been, so that you can get an idea as to what's going on inside your head and your heart. And are you doing a flip? I'm never going out with someone like that again. Well, that might not be the right thing to do. Am I overcorrecting? I don't want someone so spontaneous. I want someone whose feet are planted in the ground. And then you date that person for a while and you find that they're stubborn, rigid, dictatorial. So you want to look at extremes.
That's so interesting. So I have a question about somebody you met during the lockdown or during the pandemic that you've
Yes.
been like talking to for like months and months, and you build this connection, but now you have to meet them, which can be like very terrifying because you've already built
Yes.
this like relationship on this one platform. How do you take that into like the real world now that you like can meet?
Well, my strong recommendation is don't go on a date. Go on an undate, hang out. Say to someone, let's grab some coffee or lunch. I wouldn't do dinner. I wouldn't do anything that gets into those night hours, and and if you're working, you could meet for lunch, a short bite. If it's the weekend where you don't work, if you don't work on weekends, but make it resemble your real life. Grab some coffee for breakfast or a light lunch and run some errands together. Or just walk up and down your downtown if it's nice or not too cold or rainy or whatever. You want to make it look like you're just feel like and look like and seem like you're hanging out.
That's a good tip.
So you can feel free. What you do is pretend you're with your best buddy, okay, your best friend. And when you're with your best friend, you can say things like, oh, wait, could we stop in this store for a minute? I've always been wanting to go in here. Or, oh, gosh, there's a CVS or a Walgreens at the corner, and I forgot to get something. Will you run in with me? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what you want to do. Because after the glow kind of comes back to normal light, most of your life in a relationship involves going to the grocery store, Walgreens, CVS, getting the car repaired. I mean, right?
Oh, definitely.
Grocery shopping, making dinner. So hang out with someone. Don't go on a date kind of date.
Yeah, especially if you have met somebody you've been talking to online for so many months, you kind of already passed like the first kind of meeting stage. You know all like the questions, you know
Right,
about them already. You don't have to like make that small talk.
right,
And
exactly.
oh,
The other question that you want to ask your date or your potential partner is, what attracted you to your previous dates? And how did they shore up? When you exaggerated that quality, did it turn out well or not well? You could ask your date, do you like people who are on the quiet side and not so easily excitable? And did that turn out to be someone with dulled emotions? Or did that turn out to be someone who doesn't talk about their feelings? The idea of looking at what drew you to someone, what the other person was drawn, what quality they were drawn to in another person, you learn a lot about that person and yourself.
that's such a good tip. Oh, that's so interesting.
Well, you wouldn't think to ask those things.
Yeah.
You do it sometimes, like, like if they broke up, and you might say, why'd you break up? But that's a different question from what initially attracted you. And were you correct in that assessment?
Yeah, because usually people don't want to ask about exes. They just don't want, let's not rock the boat here.
Because what you're asking is, what have you learned from that? And you can say, I used to be drawn to fill in the blanks, and I learned that that backfired a lot. And I was drawn to you because fill in the blank.
Oh, that's also kind of like already like learning about each other and even getting like a compliment in there. Like, oh, I like you because.
Right. Yes. So
Mhm.
I'll repeat that again because it goes so fast. When you're on a date, think to yourself, how can I let this person feel comfortable, and how can I get information about them? So you can ask, you know, tell me about, what drew you to me? What qualities did you see in me that you liked? Why do you think you were drawn to me? And please fill in the blank. I'm attracted to people who are, or my last relationships were, and they didn't work out because, okay? So, and those are just variations on a theme, but I gave you some variations that you can maybe, you know, roll back and take a look at. So those are very important. The second most common dating pattern amongst women, especially, is that they like exciting partners.
Very much
Now,
so.
why would that be? Well, there's a sense of being alive, particularly if you work a tough job, and particularly if you work from home, you can't get out of your cocoon. And they want, particularly the women said they like exciting men because they saw them as men who take charge, who have got their life together, who take chances. And those are all good qualities. But again, exaggerate them. You don't want someone who takes reckless chances. You don't want someone who has to be on all the time. I'm sure you know people when you go to a party, they're on and they never seem to come back with their feet on the ground. So exaggerate it. See whether it gets to that point.
So that's a great tip. Oh, that's so interesting. I always learn so much when I talk to you. I hope as yours
Well,
do
it's
too.
hard to date. Thank you, God, I don't have to date anymore, but I'm no stranger to dating. There were lots of frogs to kiss, right? And we all have, and
I
guys feel the
know.
same
I
way.
know.
We have, and you can't get away from that. Even when I went to one of my high school reunions, there were 8 couples who were high school sweethearts and still married. But that doesn't mean that it was all smooth going. Some of them broke up and got back together again. Some of them wanted to take a break and try out dating other people when they went to college or a job. So it isn't all so smooth. So give yourself a chance to get to know someone. And the reason I don't like sex so soon, it has nothing to do with values or your morals or what you were taught or what you don't want to learn anymore. It has to do what sex does to your brain. It puts you in la la land, okay? It makes you want to attach more before you know anything about this person.
Oh, definitely. Oh, that's so true. Like you want to have this chemistry with someone and make it work, and then like, it just doesn't, and it's always like, why did I do that?
And it makes you feel uncomfortable.
Mhm.
You're not sure if you want a second date, if you should have done this, it didn't turn out like you thought, and your hormones go up and down, and it clouds your thinking. And one of the last things you want to do is dull your intuitive instincts, particularly if your intuition is accurate. And that's one of the things I found, that one of the main reasons that men and women reported that they made love mistakes was that they could not trust their intuition.
Yes, exactly.
And you think your intuition is right. And the worst thing alongside not trusting your intuition is thinking you did trust it and you didn't see the signs. So you again need to look at yourself and say, what's going on in my life? How high is my desperation quotient? How high is my loneliness quotient? Because that will interfere with your intuition. Because if you missed cues about people earlier in your relationships and your past relationships, when your desperation loneliness quotient is high, you'll miss your judgment again.
Exactly. Especially when you want something to work out so bad because like X, Y, and Z, you will ignore so much
Yes,
until you're like, it's too late. You're like, you're too much into it.
exactly. And we've lost a year of our life with the lockdown for many people, and especially for some women who want to have children earlier in life, get married or have children, or have children get married, whatever you want to do. But it's the childbearing concern that concerns them. I've lost a year.
Yeah.
And that can be very, distressing.
Because when you see like, especially social media where you see a lot of your friends or a lot of people you went to high school or college with having babies during this time, that can
Yes,
also like trigger like that kind of like internal clock. Like, wait, everybody else is doing this. Everybody else had a plan
exactly.
before lockdown, or makes it feel like they had a plan before lockdown. Like, what was I doing? You know?
For sure. I mean, when you're dragging a kite tail all the time with you, and on that kite tail, on the little bows on that kite tail, are who I am in my family, what I learned from my family, how am I similar or different to my family and my siblings, how does that affect my love choices? The other kite tails include, especially, what is going on now in your life. Am I on rebound? Have I been let out of jail because lockdown is over and I've gotten my injections and it's safe and I'm with safe people? I get me some contact here. So pay attention. Look at the little kite tails are on that kite that you're flying, because that will slow you down. You can never go, well, you probably can go too slow, but it's better to go a little slow than real fast.
Definitely. Definitely. Awesome. Is that all the tips you have for us?
Yes, I think that's
Awesome.
we lost a lot of lightness today. So these were serious issues, and I
You
I
were.
think that was very, very, dense material. So I hope people, rewind it and watch it again.
Definitely.
But if you'd like to boost your intuition, one of the things, this is the last ad and tip I'll give wrapped into one, is that when I asked all the people in my study, there were 2,600 people in my study, and that doesn't count my clients. So the last thing that they found that helped them was trusting their intuitive instincts. And that led me to do another round of research. And so that turned into my book, Training Your Love Intuition. And it's an easy book to read. It's not a reading kind of book, it's exercises that you can do to practice. And please just don't jump out of your house and into the dating world right away. Calm down,
Pump
get
the
yourself
brakes.
centered. Yes, yes, calm down and re-educate yourself.
Yes, definitely. And please check out LB's book. It's amazing. It is. If you hate self-help books, this is the book to read 'cause it is not a self-help book. It has not had that same kind of tone to it. It's a good book.
That's very nice of you to say. Thank you. I
You're
wrote it as
welcome.
a workbook, a doing book, not just skimming through pages. But
Yeah.
thank you very much. And please, I would like your listeners and viewers to have free books. So please sign up on the right side of my website, Love Victory, and you'll have free books. What's wrong with free? You
I mean, you
you don't
can't
have to
go
buy
wrong.
anymore, right? Thank you so much for doing this.
Of course. And thank you for having us. For coming in
Well,
here.
I know we're in each other's homes
Yes.
without being here, and it's always so nice. I love your bookshelf behind you. I
Thank
love books.
you.
I love books. You know, it's you have to be careful how much room they take up, how many shelves you have.
Oh,
You
I
know,
know. I have like another one there that's already full. So like, I don't
right,
know what to do now.
right, right. Well, about every season, I go through my bookshelves and closets and donate to Goodwill.
Oh, that's so nice. Okay, I
Well,
think we're gonna.
thank you all for listening, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a good week, and we'll talk again.
Yes, we'll talk again. Thank you.